Man, this is
have a computer, but he said it's only a video conferencing setup. There's no like keyboard that goes along with it. I can log on to Microsoft. We'll just do it on here.
I can see it fine.
Okay. So, SmartCEO is a brand that's been around 15 years. When we launched 15 years ago, we were a pure magazine play. And, the mission of the magazine was educate, inspire business owners in talking fast-growing company. And little by little, we've grown momentum. The magazine world has continued to change. And in media, it's a kind of an exciting time because back in those days, your primary mechanism for communicating with your audience was to produce an award-winning magazine. The content, we called it shelf-life content. It was great content, but it was, content designed to exist forever. And so we could meet you, write your story, and it would be timeless. And there was value to that. But what's exciting now is that the primary mechanism to communicate with your audience now becomes digital. And so the direction that we're going is into a platform type scenario where we still have a website opened up to the public, but we also have a private portal just for the CEOs and their leadership teams. And so that's essentially what we're talking about. So really what SmartCEO will become a national brand with regional leverage points. The leverage points will attract people into our community. The leverage points could be a magazine. Like we could produce a magazine in a marketplace to attract audience.
A local edition, sort of.
Yeah. The leverage point for us right now is events. We're really, really good at the events game. So essentially what we are is a media platform still with the same mission, educate, inspire CEOs in the docking task of growing a company. And we're getting ready to take it nationwide. So, and I said nationwide, but there's actually a global vision because we believe we can do this beyond the United States. Our initial mission is the United States. We get the right type of funding, the right type of team in place, we can take it international. So we identified cities that we'd like to get into. What we did is we followed the model of the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year program and kind of looked at the cities that they are at and said, if they're there, because that is a strong international program with high reputational equity, if they're there, they've already proven concept that there's enough of a CEO community in that place so they can have a sustaining program that happens year after year after year. So all of those markets, there are other markets that they are in that we, as of right now, are not choosing to go into, but they're really, really small markets. And I'm sure we could get in there, but they weren't the higher priorities. So the value proposition, for the platform, because we're a media company, and yes, we will be providing content for them, but the value proposition of joining is much more than just content. It's really being access to a community of like-minded individuals. We've mapped this all out. It's kind of a detailed description of the value proposition, but in the end, it's about being a part of a community that together has a shared mission of helping each other grow their companies. So our platform, it's digital, but the great thing about it, because of our leverage points, is we'll be able to provide both face-to-face and digital platform. Business still gets done face-to-face. To quote Peter Sandler. Quick history, I kind of went into it. We're a 15-year-old company, pure magazine company way back when. 2008, we started to see the model shift. So we went real event heavy. We did it for economic reasons, but it proved to be one of the better things that we ever did. When we launched 15 years ago, our mission was to be the best regional magazine company. We started winning national awards, competing against Twin Cities Business Monthly, Cranes, things like that, and beating them. 2008, we decided, hey, let's become really great at the event game. So it has now become our secret sauce. If you come out to one of our events, they have a very, very different feel. We like to say it's high energy, entrepreneurial feel to it. A lot of music, a lot of fun. A lot of times you go to an award program and you just keep the hell out of it. We keep it quick, tight, in and out, but everybody has a blast. They bring the teams out, and we attract the best of the brightest. So that started around 2008. 2012 is when we started really focusing on what we want to do digitally. And so we've now solidified SmartCEO.com as a content platform. This year alone, we'll have, just with the 8 cities, about 500,000 unique viewers, about 3 million page views. So again, that's on the scope of where we will become, it's a good start, considering
How many paid views, I'm sorry?
about 3 million page views.
What does that mean, paid views?
Page views.
Oh, page views,
Yeah,
page
page
views.
views,
Okay.
yeah.
Page views.
What's in here also is this year, 2016, we started our geographic expansion. We added 4 cities this year. We added Charlotte, Boston, North Jersey as a market, and Long Island as a market. And we proved that we can take our events without pre-publishing into any market. Where they were accepted, some of them economically did better than others. But we proved the concept. We got the best companies in each region to participate. Like, for example, up in Boston, we have HubSpot, which is the Under Armour of Boston, came into our Future 50 edition. And so we're able to just enter a market, and because the brand appears to be strong enough, or they've even heard of it, they're participating, they're in. So I talked a little bit about it before. Why do we exist? It's to help CEOs. In the end, that's the mission, is how do we help business owners grow their company?
Is it CEOs or C-suite or?
It's C-suites, people growing companies.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah, we're using CEO, but it's really to encompass the sort of executives.
Yeah, it's
middle market companies.
Yeah, and we have kind of a built-in philosophy, and every time I just gave a speech this weekend down to a group of collegiate entrepreneurs down in Tampa, and it's the same mission. It's CEOs are different, they're wired different, they're leaders 24/7, and our job is to impact their lives, help make them better, help them grow their company, because they're such leaders. If we impact them positively, they'll impact not just hundreds, but potentially thousands of people. So we have the ability to really spread what we're doing among a huge number of people. The problem that we solve, and when I talk about the problem, I talk about the platform. Okay, CEOs are incredibly busy. They're on a constant quest for the next level. How do I get to the next level? And what they do right now is they'll Google, they'll go to LinkedIn, they'll talk to their buddies, maybe they sit in Vistage, things like that. And they're on a constant quest for ideas. And myself, as I started this capital raise process, I talked to literally 20 to 30 different people, and everybody has different opinions. So you end up bouncing around. There's a ton of consultants out there that you can talk to, and I would say 90% of them suck. But the reality is, every business challenge that exists has somebody else has tackled. And other CEOs probably handle it. They probably have a vetted out resource that we could tap into. So the real problem that we tackle is giving them instant access to challenges that they might have. And we do that in a couple different ways. They can post a Q&A and say, hey, I have this challenge, who has the answer? Or if they don't get it that way, they can actually tap into our resources, and we'll go out and find it for them. They can do it publicly and do it privately. So they can actually, if they have a real private challenge, like, hey, I'm thinking about selling my company, but I don't want anybody to know, they can actually use a platform in a completely anonymous manner. Or if they're dating their secretary and trying to figure out how to get the hell out of that, like something like that. I mean, they can be anonymous in there, and even we don't know who's doing the post. And there's a lot more functionality that does it. And they can post jobs, they can post press releases, they can subscribe to specific content they want to get, and then they have access to an amazing community of CEOs. So how does it work? Like any platform, you log in, set up your profile, and we've got it set up so they connect, post. It's really about opportunities. What are the opportunities to grow your company? And then if you have a challenge, you can see we've got a little button right there for a concierge system. They click on that, and it pops up. They can send it to us, or they can respond privately.
So it's not based on having is it based on having content?
There's going to be 2 types of content in there. There's going to be content posted by other CEOs or C-levels, and there's going to be content produced by SmartCEO and fed into them as well. And it'll be organized according to certain segments. So it could be around selling a business, or it could be around raising capital, it could be around going international. So they can pick and choose what content they
Do
want.
you have your own editorial staff who's going to be developing this content, or are you going to get it from?
It's going to be a combination of content produced internally. As the thing scales, we'll have to make a big investment there. But we can also pull other feeds in.
Sort of a portal from other sites.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your long run goal is to develop more in-house proprietary?
I actually am not,
Perhaps.
I'm not happy with a lot of the content that's out there for business owners.
Yeah.
So ideally, we make an investment and create unique content that's incredibly valuable for them. I mean, that would be the end goal of being able to do that. But, you know, you have to deal with it.
But that's expensive to roll out immediately.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, you get the.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, another option would be to find people to moderate each one, you know, some
Mhm.
subject matter expert to moderate. And that would be another approach you could take that would help to make sure the content is really valuable that's going in there. You just have to vet out those people.
Okay.
So,
A lot of what you have on the web right now are like Huffington Post or something, which are just like portals, right, that they get it from
yeah,
other
five,
sites.
yeah, LinkedIn, 5 tips for this, 10 tips for that.
They're not developing their own.
Right.
Okay.
Those people moderate or curate?
Curate is pulling from somebody else. Moderate is kind of controlling the conversation. So ideally have somebody who's going to moderate it. They could curate. They could pull in from somewhere else and use somebody else's content. But you'd also want them to find resources. Maybe it's subject matter experts. If it's M&A, maybe find a local M&A attorney that they vetted out, that they trust, that's quality content.
Well, you pull things from other websites, it's free, I mean, you don't have to, there's no like intellectual property rights or anything like that.
As long as you give them credit. I use Cranes as an example right now. We'll talk a little bit about this later.
Yeah.
There's a data play going on right now. So BizNow just sold for $36 million. The reason they sold, they were in 19 markets, and it was purely about their data. They specialized in the commercial real estate space. They had an amazing database of people in commercial real estate. Cranes, from a publishing standpoint, exists right now in New York, Detroit, Chicago, and one other city. I'm drawing a blank on it. Maybe it's just those three. I think they had a fourth city. But anyway, they have now launched a digital edition of Cranes in every city. So I'm now getting Cranes emails, but it's curated content. They're putting business journal content in there. Really what they're doing is they are vetting out email addresses that they have, so that they now have expanded their database play, which is a big part
But
of
you could post something from Cranes Detroit, as long as you give them credit, you don't have to get any royalty or anything like that.
Yeah. Now they could have paywalls up, and so when you click on it, you're entering into their paywall. So you just have to make sure that you haven't put a link in there that's sending somebody to someone else's paywall. So you know that's
Then
what
you need to be a subscriber to
Cranes.
Cranes.
Yeah. So Cranes actually probably wouldn't mind if I was publishing Cranes content, because it would generate audience from that. Or Inc. or whatever.
It's interesting. I'm surprised at